I thought I had to get a good job, climb the corporate ladder, be super smart, know someone, or really just be lucky in order to make a lot of money. I never realized that I can actually go get it right now. And so I got into door-to-door, made 6 figures in a summer, switched over to solar, more than doubled my income, and eventually started a real estate investing business where we've done over 7 figures in a year and added millions of dollars to our portfolio. I realized that I can go get it right now, but there are 12 mindset shifts that I had to unlock before I could ever go make $1 million. The number one, which is you don't have to wait. When we're going to high school, college, and are listening to what our teachers, professors, parents are telling us, we're put in this fine line of go do the corporate route, work till you're 60 years old, and then you can retire and enjoy all of these things when you're done working. But it's put on this path of college, grades, smart, climb the corporate ladder, and then basically you have to wait until you can make a lot of money or have any sort of success. The reality is you can go make a lot of money, do fun things, and create all that income right now. A lot of people underestimate what they can do in 5 years and overestimate what they can do in a year. Just, you don't have to wait until you're 60 years old. I saw this with my door-to-door opportunity in college when I was able to go make $100,000 in a summer. And this was more than I ever could have made in any job outside of college in a whole year. It first takes the knowledge and then seeing that the possibility is there before you can actually take action and open up your mind. And this goes into number 2, which is that your mentors are not special. So you see these people on social media, or you see these people in books or documentaries, things that you read about, the super successful people in life. There isn't anything they did or came from that made them super special. It's not that they wear their pants any different, or they oftentimes came from a harder past or came with less advantages than you did, but they took consistent action over time, and they believed in themselves and did something for a long period of time and focused in on what could make them successful. The reality is, most people did not come from some huge advantage in life. They probably started with less or the same as you, and they stuck to something for a super long time and were very consistent until they saw the overnight success 20, 30 years down the line. Which goes into number 3, which is becoming obsessed and staying consistent. Everyone says there's 7 different streams of incomes for most millionaires. It's not because they started out with 7 different streams of income. It's because they focused on one thing, became obsessed, and did it longer and longer and longer than anyone else. They failed and failed and failed until they figured everything out. And after 10, 20 years, they became so mastered and skilled at that one thing that they made a ton of money. And then they started diversifying and making more money in different streams of income. But you have to become obsessed and not have the grass is greener mindset. If you focus on all these different things, you're never going to make the most amount of money than if you just stuck with the one thing that you figured out and got past all those failures in the meantime. This goes back to the same opportunity I just talked about in college, where I thought it was impossible to get a job outside of college that could make me $100,000 a year. And then I opened up my mindset, saw some other people that could create their own income in a straight commission sales job. And I went and made $100,000 in a 4-month period. And it completely expanded my mind because there was no other corporate job I could take that would even give me the ability to make that much money. It was the job that I took that was all commission, where I had to bet on myself and really create the value and build my own income. If you want to be successful for the long term, this next mindset shift is going to be crucial moving forward. And that's number 4, which is gratitude and faith equals fuel. If you're not grateful for the grind and the process right now, you're never going to be successful. There's always going to be struggles and failures. There's certain days where even though it might look like I'm closing all these deals and doing these big things, something goes wrong at a rental property, a $30,000 or $50,000 deal goes bad. There's so many different things that are overwhelming or really just like a wrench in the gut. And I always allow myself to be upset for like 5 minutes, and then I write that down, or I think about how is this going to help me learn in 6 months or a year to improve or avoid this, or really just overcome this battle down the line. And it almost always, every single time, is doing something to allow me to learn or improve on that in the future. So whenever you get those struggles, whenever you're worried something's not going to work out, you have to be grateful for the struggles and actually live in gratitude that you have the ability to work for yourself, to create your own income, to even have a $30,000 or $50,000 deal, or have a rental property that something broke and now you got to go pay for it. So you have to live in gratitude, as hard as that is. And that's by waking up consistently, writing down things, living in faith, being in scripture for me, different things that are important so that I actually live in gratitude and I'm grateful for when those struggles happen. One example of this is a awesome deal that we closed on 6 months ago. It was going to be one of our biggest fix and flips. We helped the lady stop foreclosure. We were going to help her move out and then go fix up the house to resell. At the end of the day, there was a bunch of issues with, title when they closed. She never ended up leaving. We're having to evict her. She's never left. It's been 6 months and we're paying for private money fees, eviction fees, attorney fees, and we've never made money in this house. So it's hard. It's a lot of things that we can complain or blame other people or do all these different things. But at the end of the day, that's part of the business. I'm grateful to be in a position to where I can even be in an opportunity to make that amount of money and solve different problems. Inevitably, things are going to happen and we're just going to have to deal with it. This aligns perfectly with number 5, which is protect your mind. Oftentimes we train our body, our business, or even relationships, these different things to become smarter or educate ourselves, but we don't do anything to improve our mindset. So for me, this is getting in podcasts in the morning, journaling, listening to Audible books that are going to improve my mindset, my sales ability, how to actually run our team, how to lead, different things that I'm constantly listening to. A lot of us never listen to any positive mindset books. We're just listening to music, or maybe we don't do anything to actually improve our mindset. If you're not continually improving your mind and educating yourself on how you can be better mentally, overcoming objection, being grateful, doing these different things, and actually being in that kind of self-development, going to events, collaborating with other people in your market, all those things will help protect your mind, knowing that you're not going through this alone and there's other people that have done this and the strategies they use to help get through and really push through that adversity. A great way to look at this also is the most powerful in the mind are usually looking at what are they not doing. They're not staying up late. They're not hanging out with negative people, going out late, drinking, staying up late, sleeping in late, not feeling their body. All of that comes down to protecting your mind. I want to be around positive people, surround myself with positive books, podcasts, and different collaborative people in my niche so that it's going to force me to grow with them. This next mindset shift is huge, which is solve bigger problems. Money is a value exchange. So the moment I realize the bigger problems I can solve, the bigger paychecks I will receive. A lot of times we're so focused on how can I make this much amount of money so I can be retired, or if I get to this point, I'll be happy. At the end of the day, we should be looking at how much can I serve someone, or how many problems can I solve for this person, or how big of a problem can I solve. That will ultimately correlate with how much money you'll end up receiving. A great example of this is some of the biggest deals we've done in real estate weren't necessarily harder, but they solved a bigger problem for the seller or provided a bigger opportunity for the buyer. Same thing when you're going to big companies that have, huge problems that can save them a ton of time. The software that people provide to fill that gap and save them a ton of time and money is going to be a lot of value to that company so they can pay them a lot more money. This is a good example when you're starting in sales. At the beginning, when I'm selling security, I might be helping someone get security for their home, so I'm compensated at that level of compensation. Then it might be saving them a certain amount of money with their electricity, or now saving people from foreclosure. I can get paid a larger amount of money to help someone really get out of a bad predicament in their house. The same thing can go as you build a team and recruit. The more I can help these other people make a lot of money, the more money I'm going to make in return, because I'm training them, I'm building a team, I'm helping all of these people now scale and grow their businesses. So ultimately, I'm going to get paid more money in return. This goes to number 7, which is delegate and elevate. You're never going to make $1,000 an hour if you're doing $10 an hour tasks. You probably heard this as a little bit cliche, but you know what your money-making activities are. You know what gives you energy and what drains you. But so many of us, as we get into entrepreneurship and business, we do all these low-level tasks that we put on our plate, or we're managing our email. And it's all these things that don't make us any money or give us any energy, but we focus so many of the hours of our day on these low-level tasks that could just be given to someone else that enjoys doing it, or someone else that you can pay $10, $15, $20 an hour to do those tasks so that you can do the things that provide you a ton of energy and make you the most amount of money. For me, this was the hardest thing to do in any business, because in wholesaling, I really started to see how I had to wear every hat in the business, finding the buyers, doing the title work. So we started to delegate certain things and put people in positions to where I don't have to read my email 24/7 or handle these monotonous $10 an hour tasks. I can give that to people on our admin team, so that allows them to get paid and go do those tasks while we go do bigger activities, make content, close deals, and really network with other people so that we can bring more business. This is very aligned with number 8, which is investing in yourself. There's not a single successful person I know, or CEO or business owner, that has not invested in themselves. This can start very small with a $20 book, but if you're spending all of your money on vacations, food, clothes, drinking, speaking, all these different things, but you won't spend $20 or $500 or $1,000 on your education so that you can improve your skills that are going to make you a lot more money, then you'll never be successful. So many people think I can figure this out myself, but you're either going to pay with time or with money. And it's so cliche, but I've spent more on my own education outside of college that has given me the quickest return than I ever have spent in college, and I've never used any of my degree. Other than networking, having a great time, and enjoying college, I spent more money on my personal education, and it's made me way more money, and I now have skills that will last and hold with me forever. Number 9 is don't fear failure or judgment. You have to eliminate what other people think, especially as you pursue some sort of business or entrepreneurship. You're going to fail. It's inevitable. The people that are most successful want to fail faster so they can get past those roadblocks and then go be successful. They also don't worry about what other people think. If you're worried about what everyone else is going to say, it's going to hold you back. You are not building their dream, you're building yours. So go do whatever it is that you believe in and don't worry about what everyone else thinks. If they truly care and they want to support you, those are the people that you should be spending your time with, not the people that you probably don't even care about what they think anyways, and you're listening to what they're saying. This next one is the least talked about and the most fun mindset shift that I've experienced this year, and it's dream loud and often. So many people when we're younger, we're little in elementary school, even middle school, they tell us we can be whatever we want. We have all these dreams and different beliefs of what we can do with our life, but as we get older, we fit into this narrow pathway of what our teachers, professors, and everyone else says we should do or what's safe. Go get this job, get this degree, do this thing until you're 60 years old, put your money into a 401k, all these different things that we're supposed to do, but we get to the end of our life and wish we would have taken more risks or pursued something that we never took any chance on. And so for me, I always try to write down my goals. I even go on ChatGPT. I'll type out my entire dream house in ChatGPT, exactly how I want it, exactly what I picture, all the different details of it, and I'll have it build me that house so I can put that on my screensaver and continuously be living. Now with this comes number 11, which is learning to say no. As you get deep into business and sales and entrepreneurship, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities present themselves, but you really have to decide what is taking you away from your goals and what is really spreading yourself too thin. There's a lot of great opportunities that I still have to say no to, or distractions, because it doesn't align with my main goal and let me stay consistent on the task at hand. This can also be super hard whenever you're busy, you have a stacked calendar. A lot of times we want to people please. At least for me, I struggle with this because I want to say yes to some opportunity or event, or even some time spent with some people that I know I can't make, instead of just saying no and rescheduling or planning another time. If it's something that's not going to be fit into my calendar, or I'm not going to be able to show up with all the energy that I need, I just need to say no and really bring that to another opportunity or another time on my calendar to where I can be fully present and actually take advantage of the time with them. Finally, the last thing is prioritizing your health and relationships. It's so easy to become so ingrained in your business, and I struggle with this a ton, where I focus and I become obsessed and I grind on one thing, but you can't let that slip on your health and your relationships. Even if you've made a ton of money, or you get to that point where you think you're wealthy, but you're not in good shape, you don't have any of the personal relationships that you had at one point, it is good to have a season of being busy or really dedicating, time in your business, but you can't let the physical side of your body and relationships go all the way to zero. I just listened to this on another podcast that talked about having seasons in your life. And even though your season may be to build your financial wealth and do all these things, you have to dedicate certain time and not completely shut down your physical health, your mental, and your relationships, or else you get to that point of the financial wealth and you've let all this go to where you're not actually happy because you put all that focus into one thing that you thought was going to make you happy. So making sure that you have some sort of balance. Again, balance doesn't have to be straight across the board. There can be seasons where you're deeper into certain work, but not turning all those other things to zero, and really getting on the same page with your physical health and with your relationships. But 99% of the world chooses the easy path and doesn't do the unconventional route that can really provide you unconventional opportunities. If you want more sales, real estate, business, mindset advice just like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel right here.